This worked great for me out in the elements because I did a lot of tracks and searches, whatever, also in big warehouses. Look at it, after 15 years, we got this and we got the high lumen one, just like that. I believe TLR1 is probably the most sold handgun mounted lights ever out there. This is very concentrated. Look, this is very, like a big flood. You see that? Welcome back to Class Farms, guys. Kyle over here, and today we're going to talk about lights, specifically Streamlight, one of my favorite light companies out there. Now, this video is not sponsored by Streamlight. I just really love the brand because I have a lot of experience with this brand. So I want to talk to you guys about that because light is very important when it comes to self-defense, tactical environments. In fact, one of the most important things. So you pick your gun. You want to make sure that you pick the proper light for that gun so you can actually have that low light performance, positive identification. Very, 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 very important. Now, here's the deal. There's a bunch of different Streamlight models out there. I've got some of the more popular ones here, but if you guys go to the website, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys will see a lot of different options that may be better suited for you. But let's talk about the company overall. Now, back in 2011, I think it was 2011, end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I got my hands on a TLR1. This is one of the handgun lights from the company's Streamlight, and I knew nothing about them. I just checked on the internet. I needed a light. I got this thing, and I knew that there were some wholesale availabilities from Safariland for that one, so I got it. Now, this is my specific Streamlight. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the gun so I don't point the gun around at you guys, and I want to show you guys a couple of things. Then we're going to go into the whole lumens, candela, lux, all that stuff. Then we'll dive deep into this. If you guys look at this thing, this is the one that I got, I think it was early 2012. Tens of thousands of rounds through this thing, attached to a 40 caliber handgun, M&P 40. I love that gun. It has seen much better days. I've broken windows with it. I've done a bunch of stuff with it. And this is my name right here, my badge number right there. It's really banged up and still to this day works flawlessly. Let's do that. I got my strobe, constant, all of that stuff. So you guys understand why I'm doing this video, because I absolutely trust these products, and there's a bunch of them we're gonna talk about. Hopefully you guys, by the end of this video, you guys are upgrading your lights to something like this, or you guys have a better understanding of lights overall. So let's talk about the lumens, candela, and lux. There's three different variations or three different names when it comes to identifying the output of a light. Now, lumen is basically the power of this light. Now, in this case, the TLR1, the original one, 300 lumens. That means once I turn this thing on, and I don't want to blind you guys, just doing that so you guys can see it. This is 300 lumens. This device is able to generate up to 300 lumens. Now we have candela. Now candela is the one, once you have that light beam right there, how concentrated that is. That's what candela is. So how focused the light is, how much light is in that beam. That's candela. And then the lux is basically how much light is hitting a surface wherever you're aiming your light at. More like the way I can explain the lux is, if you guys think about like horsepowers, right? The lumen is like the horsepower of an engine. Then lux would be how much horsepower is delivered to the wheels, because there's going to be some loss through the drivetrain, through drive shaft, transmission, all of that stuff. So if an engine makes 500 horsepower, by the time it gets to tires, it'll probably make 10, 15, 20% less. You'll have maybe 400 horsepower or 450 horsepower to the wheels. So that's what it is. So 300 lumens, and then whatever you're putting out there, that's gonna be the lux. So that's why companies actually have different numbers for this. So candela is very good for tactical environment. If you're out there, if you're in the elements, you want something that's gonna get you long range, more specific, so you can see in the elements, your environment's better. Like fantastic. Like if you talk about the Ukraine war right now, right? Or if you're out there, you're doing a canine track, and you want to look at a large field. oh man, your lumen would be basically useless at that point. You would want a very high candela flashlight to be able to see further, more focused areas so you can actually identify whatever you need to identify. Now, if you do the same thing, if you have a really high candela flashlight in indoors, well, that's going to be pretty bad, because then you are basically blinding yourself, backlighting yourself. The light is just so focused and so powerful, it's just bouncing back at you. So that's the difference. So that's why picking the right light is very, very important. You don't always want the high numbers. People are like, oh, you know what? 1,000 lumens or 5,000 lumens and 100,000 candela. Oh my God, this is great for my home defense. Well, that would be technically terrible. In this case, we've got the 300 lumens on this TLR1 that I personally have had for years, and 12,000 candela. This worked great for me out in the elements because I did a lot of tracks and searches, whatever. Also in big warehouses, I've used this, and it's never let me down. Also, these are from TLR, well, from Streamlight. Everything is pretty much waterproof, up to 1 meter, over 30 minutes. In fact, let me tell you guys a quick story on this specific light. It was December of 2012 in Rockford, Illinois, back where I was a police officer at. Did a traffic stop. It's gonna be story time, guys. Grab your, obviously, your little coffee, whatever you're drinking. Did a traffic stop. I don't know who was in the car. A bunch of people in the car. A couple of backup came over, and then trying to identify people. One of the guys lying about his name. He takes off running. Now a foot pursuit happens. I chased this guy maybe a quarter mile. We hopped a fence right by a river over there. Again, it's like 28 degrees, extremely cold weather, and we're talking about 3 a.m. in the morning. Caught this guy, and boom, we start fighting. And normally at that point, I was a pretty new police officer, and I had gotten into a bunch of different foot pursuits, and a lot of times you tackle them down, whatever, a little resisting, they're in custody. In this case, that wasn't the case. The guy just literally flipped me. He was on top of me, and we were fighting, and he had a gun on him. I couldn't see the gun, but he was totally reaching for his gun. Big fight happens. Anyways, he throughout that fight, like, he's hitting me, I'm hitting him, all that stuff. Finally, he's able to get up. As soon as he got up, I just got my gun, pointed my gun at him, and I even pressed trigger. That's why I always say on this channel, guys, you know, those really light triggers on your guns, for defensive purposes, they're not good, because sometimes you will point your gun at somebody and you will say, I'm gonna shoot this person. You will make that decision. You will press that trigger. You'll take the slack out, and something will happen. Time slows down, and you'll decide not to. And if it is one of those super light triggers, boop, there you go. You got one off. In that case, I saw no gun in this guy's hand. He was just fumbling all around. He jumps in the river, 28 degrees, like 3 in the morning. He dives in. And of course, I'm that new cop. I can't let him get away. It's gonna bruise my ego and pride, right? So I dove right after him in the water. This very light was attached to my M&P 40 and in my Safariland holster, my radio and everything, full uniform, body armor, everything. We're in water. It is above waist deep. So my light, my gun, everything is completely submerged. And we fought, I would say, about 20 minutes in that water. Freezing cold. Anyways, long story short, he's in custody. And this light submerged about 20 minutes in that cold water, never stopped working. It rusted this whole control area, the little screw area. This thing was completely rusted, and obviously over time it got better. In fact, you could still see some of the rust in there. And I never had problems with it. It never stopped working. I didn't even have to like take the batteries out, put new batteries, or clean it or dry it, nothing. This thing continued to work. From there, again, as I said, I've broken windows with it. I've fallen many times with this. It's banged up everywhere. Not once this thing failed on me. And look at it. To this day, it's good to go. So I'm sold. I'm never gonna use any other light. I mean, I could still use like the Surefire X300s, whatever, some bunch of other brands out there. Sure, I'll use them, but my guns have these lights on it. So that's it. That's my TLR1 story, and these are made in the 6000 grade aluminum. They're waterproof. They're about, TLR1s weigh about 4.3 ounces, and they weren't all that expensive. You know, you're looking at these things, you can find them a little over $100. absolutely worth it. So if you don't have a light on your gun, definitely get one. Now this is for a full-size gun. I've got it on this Glock 19, just for visual purposes. You guys see how this looks. And one of the upsides for this one is, God forbid, if you're really close to a target or a threat, you can actually press against them and still use your gun, because you guys all know what happens if you press your gun against something. It goes out of battery, it can't fire, right? On a contact shot. That's why we always say, don't do contact shots, just make sure the gun completely works. With this one, if you had to, for whatever reason, in that off chance, you have that option as well. There's that. But then we have some other variations, like we've got the TLR7X, TLR7 sub, the X version right here. A little bit different. You just basically press to activate it. I don't think I showed you guys how this one activates. So you just push down with your index. It's constant. And then you have your down. This is the momentary. Just like that. And when you do double tap, you get your little strobe, which I have used the strobe a lot. It was great. I loved it. And sub version's a little bit different. You just basically press, and this is constant. Same idea, just press in this case, or you can actually press down. So there, it just works the same. Press forward or press down, on and off, and then you get your, this is also constant on both sides. So yeah, that's it. Basically, they're both constant on both sides, but if you do hold and let go, they're momentary. So that's it. Pretty similar for what it is. This is the TLR7, just regular. It's got the 500 lumens and 5,000 candela. I love that because it has just enough candela still to give me pretty good, let me see things, but yet still it's not gonna backlit me all that crazy, and I won't just blind myself. So I feel like this 5,000 to 500 ratio is very good for CQB purposes, like indoor purposes, for your home defense, which a lot of us care about. I would highly recommend not so high candela. Decent lumens, like you want definitely a decent amount of lumens, and just kind of balanced out candela. Now you're out there, you're using one of those rifles like the ProTac, right, from Streamlight, because they're not just handgun lights, right? We got the ProTac, this is the 1.0 version. They got the 2.0 now, where you can use other tail switches like the Surefire, which is great. 2.0, USB-C, you can charge it, all that stuff. Now these things, like a couple thousand lumens, but also 85,000 candela. So this is very concentrated. So if we look at that, and then I use the TLR7, look, this is very, like a big flood. You see that? That very concentrated part is that huge amount of candela, as opposed to 5,000 here, which you can't really even tell, like barely. See that little circle versus that. Now imagine that if you're going through a place and you use that, that could actually, depending on the wall colors, depending on how big that room is, if you're in a short room, whatever, you could be blinding yourself or backlighting yourself and or your teammates, your loved ones. So there's that. This is pretty good, and for the price point, I think it's one of the best freaking rifle lights. I love them. Then we've got the, I think in 2013, I think the TLR ones came out late 2011. So here's the crazy thing, guys. This is pretty much the first TLR one that came out that I bought, and look at it. How long has it been now? It's been like 14, 15 years. I've had this, no problems whatsoever, and it's still going very strong. The very first iteration, normally you'd think that first couple iterations generally have problems on products in general. Nothing at all. Then 2013, we got the HL version, the high lumen one came out. Now we've got this on Brandon's CZ Shadow 2. These things got like 1,000 lumens and like over 20,000 candela. And you guys can just see that. So that's constant right there. And look at my old TLR one. Look at the difference, guys. This is significant. This is mine. This is the 12,000 candela. Now, I can't measure this thing. I don't know. It's been 15 years. Does it still retain all that candela? I don't know. Probably not. But still, look at it. After 15 years, we got this and we got the high lumen one, just like that. So for me, this is good for do all. You're going outside of your house, whatever. but I still want a little bit lower candela for insides. Speaking of the TLR7 subs in here, like Ryan's X with the 43X from TTI. Now, if you look at it, we got the HL and the regular X. Now, HL is high lumens. Well, it's not really. There is a catch. If you use Streamlight's own battery, they got the SLB9 battery. If you guys use that, then you're going to get 100% more performance, which is going to give you 1,000 lumens and about 10,000, 11,000 candela. If you don't, if you just use a CR123A battery, which is what I have in here, and I have in here, it's going to be exactly the same, 500 lumens and 5,000 candela. So take a look at it. We got the HL right here, turning it on. You guys see a difference? Well, there it is. And this is the non-HL. They're pretty much exactly the same light. So that tells you right there, if you guys go with the HL, you have the option to double your performance if you just simply use a different battery. But if you get this, you do not have that option. So keep that in mind. Anyways, for CCW applications, these are freaking absolutely fantastic. Good candela to lumen ratio. It'll never let you down. And that's what I use. I use TLR7 subs. And TLR1, obviously, you guys know the story. The HL right here. If you want a little bit more oomph, then you got this. And we got the ProTac that we're talking about. And I want to talk about this real quick too. They've got the RM1, not as popular, but this is a law enforcement trade-in. And this is the old school stuff. I've even used lights just like this mounted. No pressure pad, none of those fancy stuff. So you just use your gun and you just activate them. Just like that. So just looking at the beam alone, I can just tell you right there, this is going to have more than 5,000 candela. It's a little bit more focused, so I would say maybe looking at 8,000, 10,000 candela. This is the RM1, and you guys can tell, right? If you can zoom in, Josh, look how beat up this thing is. Completely banged up. This has seen better days, and it is still working. The button is very tactile. Everything seems pretty good. I gotta give it to him, man. Streamlight definitely nailed it when it comes to making their lights. I know a lot of folks talk about Surefire, which we love Surefire. Shout out to those guys over at Surefire, but I don't think people realize how popular the Streamlight, especially the TLR1 is. If I don't have these numbers, this is just Kaya speaking, right? I believe TLR1 is probably the most sold handgun mounted lights ever out there when compared to any other guns, because when I was in law enforcement, local, we were issued. State police, Illinois State Police, guess what? Everybody was issued at TLR1. In the FBI, every agent is issued at TLR1. There's a reason for that. That's definitely that's a light that has definitely proven itself. So overall, Streamlight products, there is probably one for you. Definitely check out the website and go through. But if you're doing a CCW, the subs, HL, X, whatever you prefer, TLR7s. If you want one of those like a dual thing, home defense, I mean, that works for home defense too, but if you want something a little bit bigger, then TLR1s, whether HL or regular ones, up to you. But
would you guys like to see the new HPs?
Oh, yeah, just let us know. Do you guys want to see the new HPs? If you do, we'll contact them, we'll get some of those, and actually we'll put them through their paces. Also, let me know if you guys want to do some light demonstration for tactical environments, how they look, high candela, low lumens, all of that stuff, how they look in a defensive, like a close quarter application. So you guys will be absolutely surprised. Trust me, if you got one of those like super high, whatever, lumen candela guns, you'll be like, all right, maybe I'm just gonna have to put that on my rifle for something else. I'm gonna kind of downgrade a little bit. So that's what my take on all these lights, guys. So we can talk about this forever. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys think about this? Well, Streamlights in general. Also, what's your favorite weapon-mounted light? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to hear your stories. And also, I want to know this. Anybody who has a TLR1 or TLR7, have you guys ever had one fail on you? Now, nobody has a 100% track record. There's gonna be some failures. I don't care what brand you are, but I want to know, what was your failure if you had one, and what were the circumstances? I really would love to know, because mine, no matter what I did to it, it never failed me, and here it is to speak it. So That's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And shout out to Streamlight for making such awesome products for such important application. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your business. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.